Happy Sunday.
Hey,
Good
what's going on?
everybody.
This is the final meeting of
Afternoon.
2025. Man, this is our final week. This is the final few trading days of December. And so we'll try to just sit back and just, this could be a good week. It can be a great week. It can be the start of a great new year. It's a lot that this week can bring. So let's just try to get through it and lock in. And again, I'm just more excited about I don't know. I'm just going to say the last few days of the month, maybe, because it's a lot. Anyway, let me just go on and get the meeting started, and then we can just kind of go into it, go into things from there. But yeah, happy Sunday. All right. By watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There are significant financial risks associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. All right, that's out of the way. Now, look, this was the sector heat map for the entire week. So, yeah, we had some red. We had a lot going on, but this is how the whole week, and you just look at everything as a whole, this was the week. This is how things finished. So a lot of the stocks were running up, and they were running all week, running all year, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, especially heading into we had that Santa rally and everything, and we just had the market just been running up. So when you get some pullbacks, a lot of times with these pullbacks, people just look at them and you think the sky is falling, and that's because of the time frames that they're monitoring. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of like be very strict about being careful with the time frames that you're looking at when, especially heading into the end of a week, when the week is finishing out, when everything's panning out. You want to be looking at those time frames. It's going to let you see what the real story is telling heading into the next week or just going forward. So I always say when in doubt, zoom out, but it doesn't look like the market was that bad at all, right? You see a few stocks that were redder than others, but overall, everything is green. So So these are our profits for December thus far, net profits. So, I know we still got 2 more trading days left for the month, but it's like, let me go ahead and get these December, since this is the final meeting of the year. Let me just go ahead and get these December profits in here quickly. So again, these are net profits. So when you subtract the losses from the wins, and these are for everyone who grabbed just one contract for every single trade that I alerted. And when I say trades that I alerted, I mean official trades that were alerted. Like, so if I included, all of the trades that we took together, then it would be a lot more. But I'm just saying any of the official trades that were alerted in the call outs channel. These are net profits from that. So you just grab one contract. And again, a lot of people grab more than one contract, but I just like to keep it simple with this. If you grab one contract, $4,275 for the month of December thus far. That's a 1,700% ROI on the $250 monthly subscription. Now, a lot of people, so like I said, a lot of people probably made a lot more because they grab more than one contract for every trade that gets alerted. But that's just for December. Now, so let's just do the year as a whole. So, so after in 2023, we cleared over 44,000 per single option. And I said my goal for next year, I wanted to blow that number out, but I was just shooting for 50K though. We're just saying, I'm just gonna shoot for 50K. But the thing is, though, when you start just looking at the year as a whole, well, last year that was a big number too, you know. But I said I'm not even going to look at the whole year as you know in totality. I'm gonna break it down into months and really just in a week. So we just did it month to month, and all I wanted to do was try to clear. It's like I wanted to kind of do better than I did the month before, or just to kind of it wasn't really looking at the whole year, just put it like that. I wasn't trying to really kill the whole year, but then on average, we were clearing over 4,600 per single, per single option on for monthly profits. Now, like I said, I always point out September here because like I took off a whole week in September, so this was our smallest month, but yeah, but we still had we had a pretty good year. So if you look at like I said, the full year profits thus far, our net profits, 62K, $566. So we crushed this year. And then, like I said, just looking at it as we did it month to month. I wasn't looking at the whole year. So I wasn't even really, by the time August got around and I saw how much we were up, I'm like, damn, we already blew past what we were looking for. So yeah, that's a thing. And I want everybody who's here just to look at this and just think about it from in this way. There's, we got a little process that we kind of have here, right? And it's like, if you just zoom out, everybody who took different courses and took different routes and said, you know what? Yeah, we just made $2,000 off this trade. Now I got enough money to follow along and follow this process, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go and grab 10 Tesla calls, or I'm gonna go and whatever you decided to do to go off course or whatever. Next year is another opportunity just to reset and try again, because let me tell you, the only way it's okay what you've done is if you made more than that. And again, these are profits with one contract. So like, I don't care if you was grabbing 30 contracts, 10 contracts all year and you cleared more than this, that's fine. But think about it. If you were grabbing 10 contracts all year and you were just grabbing my trades, you know what I'm saying? You'd be up a whole lot of money. You get what I'm saying? So just look at it just from a different perspective and just try to, if you just stick to the process, you hired me to do a job, so until you learn how to do that to the level where you're going to be able to replace your income, just follow the process and get the money. That's more important. Yeah. So like if you grab 10 contracts for every trade that I alerted this year, you'd be up, what's that, 625K? You know what I'm saying? So that just think about it like that. If you somebody that grab a whole lot of contracts. So I'm just throwing that out there. And every month is a different opportunity. Like I said, don't look at the whole year as a whole. Have little small micro goals and smash those goals and build your confidence. And let's keep going, because like I said, whether or not you stay the course or not, the train keeps rolling, and you see we just keep on winning, keep getting better, keep making more money. And that's what we're going to keep on doing. So we're going to keep pushing stronger, harder. Now, KK made a comment last week that was important. It stood out to me. She said something about, we get better every year. And, so our level change every year. So, and people get left behind sometimes, and we can't keep, she probably can say it better herself, but something she said about the levels and how we can't really, what did you say, KK?
I basically said, since the group has started and where we are today, like every year you have gotten better. You have changed strategies and you have taken us with you, and we are getting better based on the fact that you're getting better. You're showing us different things. And if you're not willing to stop and follow that process that's already been laid out, tried and true for you, then yeah, you're gonna fall behind. And Antoine can't, I don't feel it's fair to the community or any of us for you to slow down when we've already achieved so much and you've achieved so much. Like, it's up to you as somebody in the group trading to take that responsibility and say, I'm going to do better. I'm going to follow this process. I'm only going to take his trades. I'm only going to come in here and I'm going to post 10 successful trades that he has given us to move myself and create that confidence for myself to get better.
That's good. I like the way you put that. But yeah, and that's so true because again, look at this like any other course or whatever. Like you're spending money, you're trying to learn. The only thing about this one is if you jump in there with you're jumping in there with real money. And this isn't about your ego. This isn't about what you feel you can do. Like if you were in any other course, you have to complete the course. You have to go through it. You have to there there levels, there are prerequisites, there are all of these things, but this is the only one where everybody said, I'm gonna skip that and I'm gonna jump right into trades. But when you see numbers like this for the year, people will agonize over one trade, a loss, a small trade that we lost on or something like that. And I do too. Like I'll come in here and if we have a trade that we got killed on or something like that, we'll talk about it for most of the meeting, because your wins, the lessons coming from the losses, right? But that should not, if you followed your process, if you had a plan in place and you followed that and you still lost, that shouldn't be something that's gonna to take you off your course, to throw you off because I followed my process each time. And as long as you've done that, the market's gonna do what the market does regardless. Like I'll give you an example. On Christmas Eve, I posted something on Threads and I said all eyes are on Meta tomorrow. Well, this was on Christmas Day actually. I said all eyes on Meta tomorrow. Meta could gap up over 610 and run like a bat out of hell to 620, and then under that I put, my trigger for calls, I think it was 608, and my trigger for puts was I think like 599 or something like that. And I put the levels, like if it does this, obviously look for a setup, and then these are the levels. If it does this, then do this and do this. That night, Christmas night, at the Asian futures opened at like 8 p.m. Meta ran all the way up to like 614. But that doesn't matter to us because the market isn't open, right? By the time the market opened, jobless claims came out. Jobless claims were good. Continuous claims came out. They were hotter. They were worse than expected. I mean, were hotter than expected. And the whole market came down, right? But and then when the market opened up, it did not do what we wanted it to do, right? But we weren't in no meta trades. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't alert any trades to the team. So no, but the whole point I'm making with this is so what ended up happening Friday, I saw an opportunity for meta puts. And I put the team in some meta puts, and we made a whole lot of money off that. Right, went up over 200 and something percent on the trade, and just turned a little bit into a lie. But so I posted that, but I reshared the original post with that on top. And someone commented on it and said, "But didn't you say that Meta was going to gap up to 610 and run?" I told him, I said that Meta could do that. I said, but it didn't. We trade what the market gives us. The market didn't give us that, but it took out the trigger for puts. Think about it. On the day after Christmas, Meta took out the trigger for puts, but it didn't sell off that day. But Friday morning, it was already on my, it was just already a stock that I was like watching. We watching Meta all the time anyway. Meta took out the trigger for puts on Thursday, and Thursday, and but it didn't close down there. It just it bounced, but it was still weak. So Friday morning it was on watch. And we don't do 0 days to expiry contracts now, unless the only way we trade them is during power hour. You're not holding those contracts for a long, a whole lot of, for a long time or nothing like that, if you were going to trade them. But I just saw an opportunity to shoot the general. Meta was weak, it was coming down, and put the team in that trade. But the whole point I'm saying about this is, so people will see a setup or something don't go your way and they think that's the end of the world. No, you're not going to take the trade until the setup. No, I always tell you, no setup, no trade, right? So you're waiting for that setup you're waiting for the setup to come together first. And if it doesn't, then you're not going to take the trade. So yeah, I thought Meta was going to do that. And like I said, not that it counted, but as soon as the Asian futures open, it ran out, it ran up to 14, 614, but it didn't hold. And so, but yeah, so we saw the opportunity. We took the setup that did play out. But like I said, I gave both both of the setups and the opportunities to take those trades, and we waited for the one that played out. So, and that's another thing. So just because you want something to happen or you feel like something's going to happen, you got to play what the market gives you. Excuse me. And if that's not what you want to play, then don't trade at all. But I'm saying that should not break your confidence if a trade. So let's say we were in calls or something like that, and we ended up having to cut that trade for a loss. What'll happen is a lot of people will get in their head and say, you know what, we have to cut that trade for a loss, so I'm not going to get into the next trade. I'm a wait to get into that one. And then that trade runs like, breaks out and takes off because, around here for the most part, it's hard to kind of get two back-to-back losses because it's like I always tell you, like so like it's like you playing sport or something. Like I'm gonna put more margins on, I'm gonna put more margin on my shot. If I hit it and the ball goes out, I'm gonna slow down the pace the next time and make sure and put some more margin to make sure it goes in the next time. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta readjust. That's if you're paying attention to what you're doing. It was something that you can control anyway on a loss. But yeah, but then after a big win, everyone is waiting for the next play that didn't get into the last one, and they're waiting for the next play, and they're going to try to force that one to be what the last play was. And sometimes it's not that, you know what I mean? And you have to, yeah, it's just, so I say take every single trade that fits your level of comfortability and just stick to it. Ask questions. Like someone asked questions on Friday. I just feel like, that's just a good thing to do. And then because like if I see your questions, I'm gonna post a chart. You know me. If I see a question, if it's about one of my trades, I'm posting a chart. I'm gonna post a chart and I'm gonna give you some insight on that because that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm supposed to do. But I'm just saying, like when you clear the year and we still got 2 more trading days left, not saying that we're trading or anything, we're not saying that, that there's no guarantee that we're going to trade or anything, because we're waiting for a setup. But to have cleared 62K, 62.5, if for those who, and these are net profits, like I said, for those who just grab one contract for every single trade that was alerted, like I said, if you haven't done that this year, then you should be taking all of these trades. These are the trades that you should be taking. And if you look at that, break it up as a month level, zoom out, look at it on a monthly level. Every month, think about how much profits you can now, if you're using Robinhood or whatever trading platform you're using now, Robinhood got it. So you can look and see what your profits were for the month, what your net profits were for the month, so it shows it gives you a summary of everything now. You can see, so if you're using Robinhood, now you can use those things and you can see what you're doing or whatever. But if we, like I said, 44K for 2023, so far 62.5 for 2024, and we were only looking to clear 50 this year. And again, this is just one contract. So you just think about where we're going. Every year we get better. Just follow the process. I want y'all to make money. I feel like once you've made your money, then you can go do your own thing. But if you're breaking even every month or having a net loss because you're not following the process, then you should just think about it like this. Get over yourself and just try to get the money. Because when it does settle, like I said, these are the only profits that I include in these totals are actual trades that were alerted and the actual call outs channel. And the reason I do that is because, like I said, we've been in other trades. Like I can, like the Tesla trade, we've had the Adobe trades, there was a lot of big trades where I just sent the snipers to get it. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't an official call out that I'm not including. And then, like I said, earnings, man, we can go for days with earnings. But the whole point is, if you're not where you want to be, this should motivate you, man. And again, we just going to take everything and just don't let one trade throw you off course. Don't let one trade derail you from following the process because we're always going to get back on point. And like I tell you, everything is lined out in the options trading Bible. And one of the things I always say, like, never trade with more than 20% of your total available cash to trade, because if you die, and we will die, we die every time, sometimes you're going to die. You have 4 more tries left. You have 4 lives left if you die. But when you over leverage, and like I said, if I know I just ran you up $2,000 and now I call out a meta trade the next day, and the trade is a $500 trade, And so, you know, 400 and something dollars to play to get in. And I hear people say, well, I didn't take that trade because it was too expensive. I'm like, what did you do with the money? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then that trade ended up being worth over $2,000. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I want to make sure that everyone's taking the trades and they're taking them because, um, they're not taking them because they were pressing buttons behind the scenes and messed their account up, threw off the numbers, because I'm keeping track of what I ran the team up for each month. And so that's why I'm saying, that's why sometimes the cost of certain trades go up. But then like on Friday, that's not something I do often. You know, we try to stay away from the 0 days to expiry. But again, it was early in the day, and it was during power hour. And plus I feel like I'm a meta expert when it comes to trading that stock. You know, that's the stock I study the most, so I can stand on that. But that wasn't a very expensive trade. It was $200 to get into that trade. Now there are times where we'll get. I'm a little apprehensive about calling out even the cheaper trades because I know those are the ones that everyone gets into. But you know, if but there's an opportunity does that, you know, calls for it, I will. Because think about it, most of the time the cheaper trades, if it's not a Lotto Friday or something like that, are the ones that are deeper out of the money, and those are riskier trades. And you know me, KK can tell you when I call out a strike, what am I looking for?
Gotta go on the money.
Right, I ain't calling out a trade that I don't think can go into money. If I call out that strike, that means I analyze that chart, and every chart tells a story, and I think it's going into money. So that's what that's about. So again, we kind of already went. We're doing the recap now. We were still on that same screen, but we were already into this recap and talking about this. And again, like I said, I feel like the day's word is confidence, because I feel like when you got confidence, everything goes back to confidence, because you and it's even about building the confidence. Sometimes building that confidence, but it comes from just a little following the process, you know, and just being okay with where you are. You know what I mean? Like I got this running joke with cars, right? And it's important because it's about, we talked about this last week about respect the levels and stuff like that. So I got this running joke with cars. You know, so I like Audis and stuff. So if I see a BMW, and it's trying to pass me, we're going to race, you know, and I'm not letting no BMW, you know, just not BMW, you know, not going to do it, or another Audi maybe. But if I see a Porsche, I'm getting out of its way. You know what I mean? I respect the levels. So because I don't have a Porsche, that don't mean that I'm not going to respect the levels because it's a Porsche. You know, some people, because they'll respect the levels as long as it's not above their level. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be the same. You got to have confidence, but you got to be realistic too. Confidence and ego are two different things. And they say, like they always say, call Kanye arrogant. I'm like, well, is it true what he said? If it's true, then how can you call him arrogant? You know what I mean? That's confidence, right? But I'm not gonna go, because we can debate that a little further. But I'm saying, like, as far as the car thing go, I see a lot of people, they'll respect the levels and they'll tell you the levels as long as it's like putting them to the, you know, it's going in their favor. But when it's a level that doesn't go in their favor, they disrespect those levels. So you can't respect the levels only when it goes in your favor. So same thing with this option stuff, man. You can't skip the parts that aren't attractive, because it puts you at a disadvantage, or make no you put yourself at a disadvantage, but it makes you feel less of yourself because you aren't where you want to be at. You got to work. Like, we've been doing this for years. We've taken losses. We've got, look, like I said, I tell y'all some stories, and they're all in the chat. You know, they're all documented. But I'm saying, like, we've taken some losses. You know, we've been through some stuff to get to where we are today. And I put a lot of these things in place so y'all won't have to go through them. But I'm saying that I always go back to the beginning. When you follow that guide, the how-to guide or whatever, no one wants to do multiplication. I mean, nobody wants to do adding and subtracting because they feel like it's so slow and it's so boring. They see everybody talking about multiplication and stuff. So they want to just get into those conversations. And I say this every week, though. So, like I said, it's easy to say that, oh, yeah, well, 3 times 3 is 9, because you hear people saying it. Or, you know, I think this stock won't go to this level. It looked like it's going to do this. This, you know, 100 is in play. It's easy to say it with your chest. It sounds good. But if you skip adding and subtracting and jump straight to multiplication, when you in that field and we trying to shoot the general, and it's every man for themselves at that point, and you got to problem solve. Like I said, Bobby had 5 apples and he gave 2 of them to Sally. How many do he have left? You don't know because you can't use multiplication now. You got to go back and use that adding and subtracting the problem solving. You skip that part of the level. And now you don't know what you're doing and you're jumping out of trades and it's right at support where you should be adding at, you know what I'm saying? And or it's right at resistance where you should be buying those puts or taking profit, or you in no man's land and you don't know what's going on and you keep doing this over and over again, but you won't go back and start at the beginning, or you won't ask those real basic level questions that you really want to know the answer to. And it's causing a loop and you're losing your confidence. And that's how it's going. What's up, KK?
Well, one, I want to go back, just a little bit back to Meta because I definitely swung Meta Christmas Eve, and however, I was substantially up on that contract when I swung Meta. And I'm gonna play a setup that I know every time. I'm gonna stick to what I know. And if it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. You know what I'm saying? So and when the market opened and it wasn't doing what I needed to do, I did cut the trade. I was down. I wasn't down on the contract at all, but I did lose some of my money. But what I've learned is I'm gonna cut things off the top if I feel like it's not gonna play out because I'm gonna let my runners run and I'm gonna cut trades that if I'm in the red or I feel like it's not doing what I needed to do. That has helped me to build my confidence because to be able to identify those things, to not be like, oh, well, depending on hope, because hope will kill you in this market. When you hope like, oh, it's going to go to where I thought it was going to go and hold up, let me see if this happened or let me see if that happened. Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. But that comes with time, because before I might have done that. I might have stayed in the trade, like, hold up, I think it's going to do this. I really hope it's going to do this. And then it doesn't do that. And now I'm down on the contract that I was up substantially on. So I'm going to take my profit and I'm going to get out of the trade and I'm going to live to trade again. I'm going to wait and I'm going to wait for my setup to come again. So, or I'm going to wait and I'm going to look at the chart and I'm going to say, okay, maybe this isn't the trade. Maybe this isn't the setup I need to look for. Maybe I need to look for a different setup. So, not being afraid to cut those trades and, be okay with that and come back and live to trade again, because I'm just not gonna play certain games. I'm gonna stick to my processes and procedures that I've already been taught. But a lot of what you said is so true. Like when we come into trading and we're coming into different levels and learning things, I don't like to talk about a lot. If y'all know me in the chat, I'm gonna talk, but I'm not really gonna give a lot of analyzation unless I am super confident in what I see. And I'm gonna back test and I'm gonna show you what I see and I'm going to be okay with that. And if it doesn't play out, it doesn't, but I'm going to stick to what I've been taught and stick to what I know. Because when you sitting here and you trying to follow other people, like, oh, I see this, and you talking all this razzle dazzle talk, but then when it's time to get into that trade, then that's when we know who are the people that's really ready and who are not. Because at the end of the day, I'm not getting into a trade if I'm not comfortable with that trade. I'm going to trade the trades that I know. But like for example, before Tesla hit 300, I saw something substantial on the chart. And I said, yo, Tesla hasn't reached this level for a couple years and it looks like it's ready to take this level out. And so I'm not going to say that if I'm not ready to get into this trade. I'm going to talk with confidence because I feel like, yes, it's getting ready to do this. And I believe that this is where it's going to go based on the historical data that I've back tested and based on where this chart is now. And the rest is history. You see where Tesla is now. But at the end of the day, if I didn't do my work, if I didn't do my due diligence, how am I going to jump in here and I'm trying to tell other people and want people to believe me and want people to trust what I'm saying if I'm not able to show them the same information that we have studied consistently to be able to say, yes, I know what I'm doing. So I'm not here to, I don't want anybody to, let's put the disclaimer. Antoine is the person that's calling out the trades. I don't expect anybody to follow me into any trades. But trust that if I'm going to talk about something in the chat or I'm going to point something out, it's going to be based on what I've seen in the chart, what I'm learning, and what I believe can happen. And we just have to have that backup when we're talking. I feel like the confidence for some people are inflated, and yet, it's this, when they hear people who have been here longer or might question what they say, it's not to break you down. I don't believe it's to break your confidence. It's to give you the confidence on the right level, to tell you, hey, you should probably look at this or you should probably look at that. That's just to help you. I don't think it's to try to hinder you at all. And I think that sometimes people take it that way when it really isn't that. And Antoine's always here to help you. And there's a lot of people in the chat who are always willing to help you. It may not come off as help in your eyes, but trust me, they're not trying to break you down. They want you to look and say, well, why did you say this? Or why did you say that? Or why did you make that decision? Or why are you making that decision? Everybody is learning the market on different levels, but learning the foundation is what's going to help you to move into the next level. Because I didn't learn anything, I feel, from being in this group for years. Like, I don't feel that my trading went to the next level until I mastered support and resistance. Once I could see that on every chart, I was like, okay, now I have a little more confidence. Then I start basing it off of, now I'm getting in the trades. And I'm like, okay, it's doing what it's bouncing off of this support and it's going to that next level. That's how you build that confidence. And now I'm taking the trades with more comfort, as opposed to, oh, I'm just jumping in because I see the trade running and now it's up 40% and I don't want it to go up 200%. And then I jump in and now I done missed the trade. Like, nah, if I missed a certain level, I won't get in the trade. I'll be like, oh, nah, it's already gotten here. And I don't know if it's going to pass this next price level. So I need to see it now. So I need to see it hold now this level before I say I'm going to be able to jump in to try to take it to the next level. So being okay with that, that's going to build the confidence. That's going to make you like, okay, I can jump into a trade. I never used to take chart alerts ever for like 2 years, 2.5 years. I didn't take one chart alert. I was like, this is above my pay grade. I know I can't do this. And it wasn't that I couldn't, but at that time I didn't feel the confidence to do that. But once I got to that level, I said, okay, I see the chart now in a different way. And now I can take these chart alerts. Now I can make these bang. Like, so don't be okay with that. That shouldn't scare you because you see other people able to go that route and you aren't there yet. You get the level that you want and you master that level and you'll be able to feel way more comfortable going into those trades.
One thing that KK said, and again, like I said, we already on charts, so we already diving into charts now. But the thing is, it's just that she's right, and about the question. Sometimes she'll tell me something, and I'll ask her a question. I'm like, well, did you like, why did you do that? Was I just, and then she'll, I'm like, no, I'm just asking why, just trying to unpack the reason why, I get more color on why you did that, and then sometimes she'll think, okay, well, I did this or I did that, or me, because now I want to know the time frame. Or like she made a point about uh if a stock, maybe if it ran, because she used to have this thing where if I call out a trade and it already moved over, once I say it already hit 20% or over something like that, and she ain't in it yet, she's like, I ain't getting in the trade. I'm like, what?
Right.
And I told her, I said, well, you can't, I said, you can have that. I said, but you may miss out on a lot of trades like that. Zoom out. I mean, look at the chart first and see where the chart is. I could have just gotten y'all into the trade early based off of something else, but now it could be just it could have just broken resistance and just retested a support level. You know what I mean? It could have been, it's so many different things. And I'll give you another example. Like a few weeks ago, Now KK, she was in Tesla and she didn't tell anybody, right? She was in Tesla already. So this whole move right here that had taken place, the move, this gap up that had taken place here, like she had already taken this move and was in Tesla. There was probably one of these moves here where she was in it and it ran or whatever. So so a lot of people were talking about Tesla, but what I did was, because I like to set up assignments, like I call them open book tests to see what my team, you see what my sniper's going to do. So I posted this chart right here in the chat. This was before Tesla broke out of this level right here. I just posted this chart that had, I just put this line here today because we're going to talk about that in a little while, but I'm gonna move it for now. It's in the way. But posted the chart with this line right here. Tesla hadn't broken out of this yet. And everybody was making comments or whatever, and it's ready to make moves. And I'm like, well, I'm just posting a chart, and KK was like, and you definitely don't want to chase a stock that already ran $22, and that's true. And I told her, I said, I don't know exactly what I said, but it was basically like, I don't care how many dollars it ran. If it breaks out of this level, it's out of here. You know what I mean? And as soon as it broke out of this level, now it's crazy because I think I was I had grabbed, I had sold before the close, because I'm gonna go down to I can't, if I do it, it's probably gonna be, but yeah, I ain't gonna do it now. When it broke out of this level, it ran, I was in some 390, I think, yeah, 390, some 390 contracts. I sold the 390s before the close and I grabbed the 405s. Or was it? Yeah, the 405s. And KK, she was in the 405s. I think I'm not sure what happened, but I know that we ended up swinging
No,
the same
I
stuff.
had got the 400s. We
Yeah,
had,
well, I think it was 400s that I was into. Then that's what it was. Then that was 400s. Yeah, it was 400s. So because we ended up in the same contract, but I sold the 390s. But yeah, but the whole point was, and Brian, I know he was in some too, and Iron Weaver was in the contracts. It was a few snipers in the group who understood.
Jason,
Yeah,
Pinga, a
Jason.
lot of us was in
Well,
there.
actually, I don't think Brian got in that trade. He didn't get into that one, but I think he did, but he didn't swing or something like that. But yeah, a lot of people swung. They played that trade and and they made a lot of money. But the whole point was, it was just like I brought that up because, like she said, and I'm looking at levels and I like setups, and everybody know I love a good bull flag. That's my favorite setup to trade. I like to trade bull flags. I'm not looking for inverse. I'm not looking for head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders. I'm not looking for cup and handles. I'm not looking for those things. I'm playing what I'm used to playing. And when a bull flag breakout, if the volume is there and everything is in confluence, that thing gonna run. You know what I'm saying? And depending on what time frame it breaks out on, it may take longer for the whole thing to play out. But like I'm gonna show y'all what Tesla is doing right now. Since we kind of segue in the charts a little bit, but we still talking, we communicating. But I'm gonna show y'all what Tesla is doing right now. And I see a little flaggy flag right here. That's starting to form now. But just look at what it's doing right now. It came down here. We already had the 222 reversal. This played out already. It played out when it took this out, but it did close under the 9 EMA or whatever. But like I say, market structure over EMAs, right? So what could happen, there's a few things that can happen. As long as Tesla holds this uptrend right here, then it bounces and it goes, right? But excuse me. But if it breaks down, then we know our target is here. You know what I'm saying? So we just, with regards to Tesla, we just got, I'm looking at the whole setup, and we got the flagpole right here, and we got the consolidation happening right here. So we can see how this end up playing out right now. But like I said, if we just looking at it for a regular trade, over 450, damn, over 450, back over 450. Yeah, so over 450, my first target would be that bearish gap fill area right here. Is that at the yes, that's at 454.13. And then my second target would be up here at 466. So And that's it. But yeah, well, what is that? 460. Yeah, so like I'm just saying, yeah, 465, 25 up in this area here. And then we got another gap fill that we would fill up there if, so a few areas where this could possibly go. But yeah, because the market, like again, I don't think the market, that's why the first thing I showed y'all when we got on this call was the heat map for just for the entire week, because people see a little bit of red and they go crazy. And I'm like, look, zoom out. What is going on? Like, look at the bigger picture. What's going on? The lower the time frame, the higher the emotion. So just you want to see what's actually going on. And sometimes you got to zoom out to to get the noise out of the picture. So we got a few levels Tesla could hit to the upside. Like I said, if we were to lose that 426.50, my target would be 414. That's a long way down, right? But 414, 32, that would be the first target. And then we got 402.77. Then we got 390, all those levels back again, right? So yeah, so it's a lot of places where Tesla could go. But like I said, most importantly, zoom out. Here's the weekly chart. I'm gonna finish green on the week. We got like a doji here. So it opened on the week. This was the weekly price. So we opened at 431 on the week, and we closed at 431.66. So we closed within 66 cents of where we opened. All of that volatility. So the high on the week was 465.33, and the low on the week was 415.41. So just imagine, right? Look at this as if this was an hourly chart or something like that, or a daily chart. You get all of that volatility and didn't take profit, only for it to come right here and finish where it closed at. So that's why, like, a lot of times, whenever I go into a trade, I have a setup in mind, and I'm gonna stick to it because it takes the emotion out of the trade. It's like I said, if you're gonna go into a bank and you plan to go into that vault, I mean, you had a whole setup to go into this bank, and you said, okay, we're gonna wait. If the vault is open, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna do this, and then now you go in the bank and the vault ain't open. But you're just gonna stay there and you're gonna force the trade to happen because because you wanted to trade that day. No, you're gonna get your head blown off. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna do it anyway, right? And so you want to live the trade another day. If the setup ain't there and it don't work out, just go ahead and get out of there. I say market structure over P and L, and so it just because a trade is down, or just because a trade is down, if the structure is still intact, you hold it. Just because your trade is down, if that structure break, you still got to cut the trade. Simple as that. Because what end up happening if you don't do that, then it end up being that loss end up becoming it keeps on growing, and you're like, damn, I could have took the profit. I should have cut it here. I should have cut it here. And you know me, I'm gonna consider that when calling out the next trade. So, but yeah, this is a nice setup on Tesla. It looked like it can bounce here, and yeah, and then I do want to make one more comment about Meta that KK said something about, right, as far as Meta. Now, I swung Meta calls that day too that she's talking about, right? So I was in I think they were six, I was in 605s, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, I was in 605. No, whatever contract I was in, I think it was 605s or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I was in 605s, man, but I was up significantly on those contracts too. I swung them. I was already up several $100s on the contracts. But this is what I did at market open though. Because I was in Tesla too. So, she knew I was in Tesla too. But what I ended up doing, I ended up buying the dip on Meta. I bought the dip on Meta. And then, so I'm gonna tell y'all this now. Be careful with this though, because some people like to average down because they learn how to do it. But it's like this. Let's say your contract, you paid, I'm just using this as an example because it's easy to use this number. Let's say I paid $200 to get into a trade. And now when the market opens up and I'm down 50% on that trade, but it's right at a support level or something like that, right? It pulled back to a support level. And it still may be weak. It may not hold, and you may just get a little small bounce for power hour or whatever. I'm down 50% on this trade now. So now I'm gonna buy two more contracts, so now I paid $100 for two more contracts. And now it went back up and I'm at break even. And now I'm out of the whole trade. So I ain't taking no loss. Or I got a quick 25 or 50% profit off the whole thing. And I jumped out. I wasn't looking to get nothing significant off of it. I just wanted my money back. Now you only do that in certain situations where you really, you're going to snipe that move and you're going to take the money and go. But initially I'm down 50% on the trade. So I could wait and get a little small balance and possibly not get all of my money. Like KK said, just get out of the trade. But I grabbed a few more contracts while I was down. I wasn't down 50%, but I'm just giving you an example. Made some quick money and got out of there, but I got all of my money back. You know what I'm saying? So I call that playing defense on the trade. That's one of the things that we use averaging down for. If you in a quick sense, you can do it like that. Because sometimes I'm not looking to make no money. I just don't want to lose sometimes. The setup didn't work out, the trade didn't work out, didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Cool. I ain't take a loss, but I want all of my money. It was house money, but it was my money. You know what I'm saying? So just look at it that way. And so that's a good way to look at things. But yeah, so let's go to Meta really quickly, since we just talked about Tesla and we kind of segue back into Meta.
If I
Look,
can
so
be honest, I felt that way um about a play. Like I don't even need to make no money. We could just break even. Like just give me back. And I've I've chased one of your trades and saw red. And that it does hurt. And I hear you and KK talking about like process when KK was like, yo, if you're not going to follow process, what's the point of doing it? And that was something that really like if i'm if I'm not going to sit in front of the computer and follow through, then don't take the trade. Like I can't. It's literally a blink of an eye. It's like a car accident. You could literally look at your phone for 1 second, put your eyes back on the road and be in an accident. And trading, I experienced that and I'm like, never again. I got a click last night about patterns. And so I'm a super visual. And so I had to draw it out. I don't know if there's anybody else new that is kind of like just learning, but I had to draw it out, the different types of patterns and understanding like where to put a stop loss and where to put a buy. Um, and so I just want to say I'm grateful. I'm so appreciative for the walkthrough and um, the wins and the losses because it's facts. Like those losses teach you more than studying. When you really have skin in the game, it's a wake up call. And I just appreciate being able to be navigated through this. It really is a landmine. And so thank you, KK, for everything you do too. I know, Antoine, this is your baby, but KK, I appreciate how you step in for all of us.
No problem. I appreciate you for always, talking about your journey. Speaking about your journey is going to help you immensely, and not being afraid to speak up is going to help you. You just got to, it's the time. It's always the time. It's in that moment. That's going to be what's going to take you to that next level when you're ready to ask those questions in that moment.
yeah, and again, I just so it's, I'm glad that you spoke up and yeah, like you said, you identifying things like I chased one of those trades, I did this, and like it's like KK said, everything people hate when we say it, but I'm gonna always say like support and resistance. Excuse me, excuse me, support and resistance because that's going to help you. That's going to help you not chase the trades. Like, what, damn, it's in no man's land. I ain't getting in there right now. Which way it's going to go? And like you said, the reason it'll be in a blink of an eye and you lose is because it's like, this is my thing. I'm gonna give you an example with this live trade with this live chart with not a live chart, but this example with Meta. All right, so this is a level that I have here for Meta, and if you can see, like it's a clear level here. This was resistance at one point. Every time Meta came up to this level, it got rejected. It got rejected. So when it finally broke through, it ran like a bat out of hell. But I told y'all, I told the team, I said, I'm waiting for Meta to break 600 because when it does, I told y'all to save some money for when it breaks 600 because when it does, it was going to run like a bat out of hell. And it took off. So now, look, we ran up here, hit, we ran up here, hit some resistance up here and came back down, lost the 9 EMA, came back down to this level, lost this level, right? Came back up, retested it, rejected it. Now it's rejected. So we broke back again, got a gap up, And, but the market's been doing some weird stuff the last few days. And so then we pull back down here to the 50. Now, this is important. So the 50 is the stock's mean value on the daily chart, right? So came back here, we bounced off the 9 EMA. I'm sorry, 50 came back up here, reclaimed the 9 EMA, bounced off. But you see it's playing around this level again. It was resistance, reclaimed it, now bounced off of it as support, lost it, bounced off the 50, came back up here. So this is why this is extremely bullish for Meta, in my opinion, because bulls were they were resilient here, but bears were able to drag this price all the way down here. Look, so Meta was dragged all the way down here on Friday. We played it. We played it. It bounced off the 50. Now, if you zoom in out, this is a nice spot where Meta would bounce anyhow, right? 50 EMA. And we came back up here. Not only did they pull it back up here, it reclaimed this level. It reclaimed this level and closed above it. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, we got to see what the market going to do. I feel like we're going, because if what we want to happen, I'm going to tell you what we want to happen. We want these last few days. We want these last few days of the trading year and the first few days of the trading year to be bullish. Because if they aren't, the rest of the month is going to be blood red and we're going to trade it. But I'm just saying, but we need to, because the Santa Claus rally goes into the first week of January, right? And just because we had a few semi-red days or red days, that's what you have. Markets don't move in one direction. It's like pulses and waves, And but yeah, Meta reclaimed this level here. And so when you think about it, when you just look at the chart and just look at the stock and just in totality and see what's going on, you gotta I'm not just making a trade because of something that I saw on a lower time frame or whatever, because I even got another line here. Like you see, I have this channel. So forget the other lines that I just showed you. Now I got a channel here, so we came up here, we rejecting the uptrend, but it's still an uptrend. So now we're at the bottom of the uptrend again. And so now this is where we go up again. Now, as long as the structure is intact, we still trade the upside on this, right? Now we know when the downside is happening, or if we don't break up here, then it's getting rejected here. So we know it's coming back down to the bottom of this trend, but you're not going to see this every time or all the time. Shoot, what did I just do? You're not going to see it all the time. Sometimes it's not going to be there. It's not going to be as clear. And like I always say, just zoom out. But what Taylor was just saying really quickly, if you jump into a trade at the wrong time, right? Because let's say right now I'm calling this support now, right? Because we reclaimed it. I'm gonna wait, but we calling this support. And so Meta will likely bounce here, right? Now that we reclaimed it, probably get a nice move. As long as we reclaim this, we hold this move, but it barely closed here. I really wanted over 600 first. You know what I'm saying? For calls, I'm gonna wait till they get over 600. But the whole point is like if I'm looking at this as a support level and it's holding this area and it bounces here, I'm buying here. Most people are afraid to buy. Now, let me tell you, on Friday, I played this too. I didn't put the team in this, but I played this on Friday too. We played puts all the way down, and then I grabbed calls. I'm looking at the daily chart. I'm like, that's the 50 EMA. It's likely to bounce here, even if it didn't bounce. This is what would happen. So when Taylor was talking about where to put her stop losses and where to, put her levels and stuff like that, every chart tells a story. First, you have to figure out what story the chart is telling first. Like, if you're going, I don't rob banks, by the way. I gotta say it. I just use that analogy a lot because it's like it's the stock market. But I'm saying, like, if you're gonna rob a bank, you're gonna case the bank first, right? You got to see what story is telling, like where the vault is, where the brink, what time when the Brinks truck comes. If they close the vault, do they take lunch? Do they have cash? Is it all ATM? You know what I mean? You got to know these things. So you got to case the stock. You got to know what story that chart is telling at that moment. So you can be trading and making sure you're trading the right time frame, because that setup may be a setup, but it may not play out on the time frame that you're watching. So you got to put all these pieces together. But my point is, it's like, if I feel like this is support now, because we reclaimed it. So it's not resistance anymore. It turned into support, right? But here, this was the 50 EMA. I felt like it would bounce here. I played this. Now, if it wouldn't bounce, like where would my stop loss have been? Under here, under this trend line right here. I would have gave myself some margin on that trade because this is the bottom of the uptrend. And if it broke that, then the structure was broken. Now there is another level down here, but I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting, I'm playing my setup. And so if I feel like it's going to bounce here, most people are afraid because they're looking at a lower time frame, or just because it's all about FOMO. And if the stock is, you see something like this happening, and you see it just down here, like, all right, I was watching like how it just kept on, we hit support here at this point. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, cool. If it does that again, then we finished inside here. Okay, we're gonna probably get a 222 reversal. Got that? It took off. But the whole point is like, if I'm zooming out and looking at the daily, because now I may just be seeing this here, but when I zoom out, I'm like, oh shit, that's at the 50. That's at the 50. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this. I'm gonna just take a chance and I'm gonna get in this now, right now, because it's at the 50 EMA. That's where it's gonna bounce. So what I'm saying is, so if there was drawdown here, it would not have been a lot of drawdown, because that's where they're gonna come in and save it at the 50 EMA, and it's at the bottom of the uptrend. So we got some confluence here. We got two levels of confluence here. We got the fact that it's at the 50, but remember, I say market structure over EMAs, right? Yeah, it's at the 50 EMA, but the structure is intact too. It lines up. They're in alignment, right? So I'm gonna take that trade. That's a high probability trade, so I'm gonna take it. And so if I have some drawdown, most of the time, so look at it like as far as jumping and or falling off a cliff or something like that. If I had to jump, if I had to jump off of a cliff or something or whatever, if I'm closer to this 50 EMA, my fall isn't going to be that hard to fall. It ain't my drop isn't going to be that far down, right? If I'm buying calls, so like if it drops some more, what's the worst that can happen? It's going to drop to the 50 EMA and bounce there. Okay, I can deal with that drawdown, low risk, right? But if I'm at no man's land here in the middle somewhere, then I'm like, you know what? If it was to come back down, I got the most likely it's going to come back down here. It's already been down this way. That's a long way down to fall. So now my contract gonna be down 50% or longer. So that's why you got to be looking at what you're doing. And sometimes just because you see something on a lower time frame, like a 5 minute, remember a 5 minute chart only going to give you 5 minutes worth of price action. It can only give you 5 minutes worth of price action. So you may see a setup, but you have to play that setup. Like for example, here's on this 5 minute chart, there's a little small bullish flag right here. It played out. But are you taking that profit? You feel me? Are you taking that profit when it play out? Are you doing that right there? Most people aren't. They'll use a 5 minute time frame. They'll be trying to take a session hourly setup. I mean, they'll do a 5 minute. They'll look at the 5 minute time frame, but they want session hourly money. You can't do that. You play that 5 minute chart. You respect the levels of that chart, but like I say, the lower the time frame, the higher the emotions. And sometimes that 5 minute ain't gonna give you accurate data. You're gonna see a setup breakdown quickly on the 5 minute that would not have broken down on the session hourly. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes on the session hourly that would not have broken down. If I was only looking at the session hourly, I would have had to wait until, because again, I saw the support happen. I saw it getting support here. But what I would have had to wait, I would have to wait until this candle right here cleared this candle, and then for me to play that for that 222 or that 2-1 that 2-1 reversal to happen. And that would have been, again, I'm not going to say it would have been too long, but I would have missed that sniper move by zooming out and seeing that it was bouncing here at the or close to bouncing at the 50 EMA. So I jumped in. Like I'm going to take that trade. I'm like, like I said, the probability of it dropping, I'm like, okay, it's going to bounce off the 50 if it bounces, but if it doesn't, we got the bottom of the uptrend right here. I'm taking that risk because it's a low risk, high reward in that particular situation. But they wait until a stock has ran like this first. And then now they want to ask about meta calls. I'm like, look, when you're supposed to be asked about meta calls, it was here. You know what I mean? Like, when I traded the puts on Meta, first thing I noticed that market open, because again, like I said, I was in calls at first, you know what I mean? I played defense on the call, got out that trade, got my money, and it was put city. I put my team on, this was the next day, obviously, because I wanted to see how price closed. Meta closed under my trigger for puts, but it did not play out on Thursday. Friday, I saw the gap down, price went right up here. Look, rejected the 90 EMA and then flushed. Called to play out immediately, and the rest is history, like I said. But you gotta you got to be ready. That's why we always say shoot the general. You got to be ready to shoot the general. I mean, if you've been staking out, you're ready for that setup, and you're going to just take the trade. So yeah, so if your entries are better, if you take better entries, then you won't be your drawdown won't be bad. You won't be stressed out by the drawdown when that happens. Because again, most stocks, they're going to consolidate, they're going to come back down, and if you're buying near support, when you get those little retests, those are opportunities. If the structure is intact and the setup looks like it's going where it's going, those are opportunities to add to the position, or you know what I mean. So and I'm gonna tell you what I do. I'm gonna show y'all something really quickly on this daily chart. Y'all see this little alert, this little bell right here on this chart? So that bell that I have right here is a price alert. It sounds like, you know how it sounds when your smoke detector need a new battery? I hate that sound, right? So what I did was I wasn't paying attention to this. I was like, I'm gonna wait to see what Meta does. And I probably did this on a lower time frame, but I think it was session hourly, but I'm just going to talk about it because I see the level here. See it right there. Let me go to a lower time frame actually. Well, matter of fact, I'll leave it here. Leave it here. So let's just say I'll put a price alert here on this horizontal line right here. So I can put it on anything I want to put it on, whatever I make. So I put it on this horizontal line right here. What'll happen is if Meta hit this price right here, comes back down to this line right here, I'm gonna get an alert. I can set it to go off multiple times, or I just have it to go off one time. And so I'll get an alert as soon as Meta hits that line, and that'll let me know what I need to do. So like if you're doing other things and you're not really paying attention, like, or if I tell you what a trigger for calls or something is, you can set a price alert there so it can bring you to it. And then you can go look for your setup, because again, just because it hit the trigger doesn't mean there's a setup, because on Thursday, I didn't call out Meta puts Thursday and it took out the trigger for puts. I waited until Friday to find a setup. And, I just wanted to just put you on the best opportunity, the best chances of winning. And I knew, because remember, my favorite things, we got two of my favorite things here in the market are, support and resistance, and those Greeks. If we're going to trade options, now, if you're just trading stocks, then Greeks don't have to matter at all. But if you're trading options, Greeks have to matter. And that, Greeks aren't fun to people, but that's like one of my favorite things to look at is Greeks, So, and so my thought was, okay, yeah, we hit the trigger for puts. I can call out a swing trade here for the team. I'm like, nope, or I can wait until the next day, because that theta is going to be higher on Friday. So we're going to get those contracts for a lot cheaper, So I wanted a cheaper contract. And I'm like, I'd rather wait for the setup to happen in real time. And that's what I did. Now the price did gap down that next day. You know what I'm saying? This is where Meta closed that on Thursday. So if I did, it would have been a nice move down. You get what I'm saying? So listen, look, it closed at 603.35. It opened at 559. I'm sorry, 599.41. That was a nice gap down move, and I like the team to take advantage of those. But this is what typically happens though. But then you see what happened right at market open. It Meta started after it gapped down. It went up. It went up to 601.85. People would have gotten shaken out. They would have lost some money, or just wouldn't have just taken that profit that they made right at the market open. So I said, it would be better if I just go ahead and wait for that, for the next day. And I can get that trade for a lot cheaper for them. And then even though we don't typically play those, I can put them in something 0 day to expiry and be out by 10 o'clock, or, really quickly, and make them some money. Because I know a lot of people they want those cheaper trades sometimes. And so we did it like that, and it ended up working out, and it was a substantial trade, and that's how it worked. But the whole point was, if you get in, if you're playing off support and resistance, then your entry you're gonna have a solid entry, and you're not gonna it's not gonna be too much drawdown for your trade. If you get in that no man's land, it can go either way. But if it goes down, you have a long way down to go to get to support again. And if you're playing puts and you get in that resistance, then the probabilities of you being successful in that trade or having some drawdown, they go down exponentially. So I just say, find out where support and resistance is in conjunction with how long you're planning to hold the trade. If you're watching a 5-minute time frame, only look for at least 5 5-10 minutes worth of price action and look for that setup before you take the trade. Because if I'm looking at a bullish flag, I know how it's going to play out and where my target is going to be for that trade. Take the profit and go. And so that's just going to be another important thing just you want to do. And just make sure that because, like, again, I'm not going to make any promises about what can happen this week, but I will tell y'all this. I do have some things, like, I want to start the year off with a bang. You know what I'm saying? I want to start January off, I want to hit the ground running, but I also want to end December with a bang. And yeah, we up over $62,000 for those who grab just one option per single trade and net profits for the year. Yes, we are. But some people, that just got here last month, and some people just, I just want to, yeah, we want to end the year as strong as we can. If there's an opportunity, we're going to trade it. And so just be on point and be ready and ask questions. Just don't worry about if somebody send you to an options trading Bible or tell you to do this or tell you to do that, or just because there's somebody that's going to help you. Somebody's going to help you, and I think somebody was in a meta trade on Friday, and I think it was Thursday or Friday, and Jazz said, "Don't sell it if you're still in it." And Meta came back and ran. You know what I'm saying? So ended up being other people probably got into that trade based off of that comment too. So it's just like you ask questions, it can help you out. But yeah, if you wanna replace your jobs, and again, everybody don't want to do that. But like I said, if you want to replace your job and be able to just like live how you want to live and do what you want to do. And again, it's just about freedom is the ultimate goal, right? Freedom is the slower days, being able to wake up and it just have be a slow day if you want it to be a slow day on a Monday. I like slow Mondays, and because that used to be the worst day of the week. So I like slow Mondays. You can do that too, like KK said the other day, if you can make $100 in 10 minutes or 30 minutes, without having to do anything for the rest of the day. There's something to that. Some people don't make $100 a day at all. That's 500 a week. Extra 2,000 a month. Some people don't make that at all, and some people just work hard and don't make $200 a day. So if you're making $200 a day on average, and you can just take that money and now you can go do whatever you want to do with the rest of your day. But if you were working a regular job, you have to work, like they told you that it takes 8 hours to make $200. They lied. You know what I'm saying? It don't take that long to make $200. You don't have to risk your freedom to make $200 either. You know what I'm saying? So you can actually do this and make a whole lot of money. Like I said, we cleared $62,000 if you just grab one options contract for every trade that I alert, and includes all of the losses. You don't have to. I grabbed 7 contracts. So I did this behind the scenes, and I saw a meta chart. KK said she didn't touch one of them chart alerts until 2 years later. She was just taking the call out. It'll be like, a trade didn't work. I'll see. That's why I don't take his call out. So that's why I ain't doing this. I'm like, listen, you shouldn't be trading if you don't have enough money to cut a trade. Some people say that was the only bit of money I had. I wasn't going to cut that trade. Now you're down 60%. But I'm saying I just want everybody to know, like, well, this can be you, and it can be you too, if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? If you want to replace your job, you can do this, but you have to have a system. You have to trade like a business. You have to cut your losses. You have to have that level of commitment. Like I said, there are going to be losses, but if you break it down into months, you can break it down into months if you want to. But yeah, we're going to finish this year off strong. I mean, we already have. I'm just saying the last week was strong too, but I feel like there's more left. And if the opportunities, present themselves to us, then we will be trading. So let's do this, man, and we're gonna work it out now. I'm gonna let y'all know now. Like, so what we got this week? We got Monday and Tuesday left for December, and then it's January, and so let's keep things going, and let's. Oh no, I have this speech every year, and I just want to see how we just get better and better every year. I just want to see what's in store for us for next year, and let's hit the ground running. But yeah, just I honestly just want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. I'm gonna hit a few more of these chart alerts. I know we didn't I gotta go through economic data too. We got a few things happening. We only got one Fed speaker this month, and I'm sorry for this week, because this is the slowest week of the year, this week right here. So um but who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what's gonna happen? So I'm gonna go back to hit those really quickly. So yeah, we got Barkin speaking Friday at 11 a.m. We got Chicago PMI Monday, pending home sales, the house pricing index. We got obviously Wednesday week off. We got jobless claims, ISM manufacturing PMI, and vehicle sales. So we got a lot going on, but not it's going to be still a cool week. And remember, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened last week, right? There were situations last week where certain days, think about it, how the market was up significantly pre-market, and it was able to just get dragged down as much as it was dragged down. When the volume is lower, you're dancing with the market makers, because it's not a whole lot of big players. Like the smart money is not really in the market. The insurance companies, they aren't trading really. A lot of people are on vacation. So we're dancing with the market makers. They're getting it. They can do whatever they want to do with the price, and they can move, they can manipulate it very easily because it's not a lot of volume. So just be careful with that. A lot of the stocks that we trade that typically that break out and run, they're not going to have the fuel to run as fast or as quickly as we want them to outside of power hour, even during power hour. So like we try to be careful with the setups that we're trading, what we're looking for. Now, I do expect Meta to be a stock of play. Again, I like the setup on Meta. I do like the setup on Meta. And so we're going to see exactly what happens with this. So right now for Meta, over 601.85, so over 602. The first target obviously will be going we're going to hit that the 90 MA is right there. So I'm going to say 603.58. But after we clear that, we got obviously 608 is in play, and then 611.36, and so on. We got levels there. Now, if we were to lose five, see right there, we're right there at the 90, right there at the 50. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say if we lose 588.74, we gotta lose 588.74. So that's the only way I'm gonna trade puts on that. Unless we get some rejecting here, like there's so many ways to play this, but I'm just looking for clear triggers for on a daily, right? We lose that 588.74, then we can play that down to it may bounce here. So we want to put a price alert here. It may bounce here first. Off of this, I'm gonna be watching this. I'm gonna just say if Meta hit that if it lose 588.74, watch it to see if it break this uptrend. If it break the uptrend, then 583.14 is in play, and then most likely it's going to go to 572.74. If it lose this uptrend, it's going to break down. Simple as that. You know what I mean? So if it lose that, expect for it to break down. The volume's going to come in, and they should be able to hold this structure together though, because they've been doing it, they've been defending it pretty well. So yeah, so that's what I'll be looking for from Meta if that happens. But the setup looks bullish. We're going to play what the market gives us. QQQ. I think I have a QQQ chart here already. See, a lot of these stocks they have, well, this is the ETF, but it has a similar charts. I didn't really like this chart. I didn't like it at all, man. I'm gonna blame Tesla and Nvidia for this. No, even I'll say Amazon too, and Microsoft. I'll blame them for this chart right here. But so yeah, so that this is an ETF that tracks the Nasdaq 100, tech stocks, and we have these. And so if this what happened, it went up here to this resistance and it rejected it hard, lost the 50, and lost the 9 EMA, and it came down. Right, closed the gap. It finished right here at this gap fill area. I think that bullish gap fill area closed right there. But yeah, I look. So here, there's a level here. There's a level here that it came back up and reclaimed. Right. So we can see what actually happens here with this, because it's one of those stuff. Now it's in a zone where we'll just see what happens. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to that chart for a second, but I want to zoom out a little bit. So we got the inverse hammer on the weekly. Okay. The monthly closes in a few days. Let me see how that's setting up. Okay, all right, month still looks good. All right, cool. All right. Go back down here to the daily. But you see, before I wanted to go back and zoom out and see what was going on in the weekly chart. But yeah, so it's just this kind of one of those situations. Yeah, we got a level here, you know, but it's not that big of a level. But we gotta just be playing what we have, playing what we have. And yeah, just finished red. We'll just see how this plays out. I'm gonna just say give it just traditional levels on this one over 526.45. Then we looking for a move to 530 and then possibly back up to 535 if we get over there. If we were to lose, now this is why I don't like playing it like this. I hate when it's in the middle like this. But if we were to lose 517.86, then I'm looking for a move down there to 511 and then 508.45. Right now, look, this is what I'm saying. So since we got a level right here, and I'm gonna zoom out and show y'all the session hourly for a second. I'm just giving y'all this information for a reason. Make sure that's the same level. Second. Yeah, that 521. Yeah, all right, cool. Same level. All right, cool. So go back to the session hourly. So check this out. It's easier to see. Remember, sometimes we do surgery on these candles because sometimes, yeah, the daily chart is giving us like we don't have a lot of candles. Sometimes there's a lot of noise, and you got to zoom out just to not see a lot of noise. But then sometimes it's not a clear enough picture to see the levels and stuff because of how choppy everything is. It jumped all around, right? So sometimes you got to zoom out. And I'm sorry, zoom in. So I say do surgery on the candles. We're gonna do surgery on these few candles right here by going to the session hourly because one of those candles give me 8 session hourly candles. But look at this right here. We got a bearish flag right here. But it kind of, if you look at what happened, I had this level. It's the same level that I had over there. You couldn't really see how this could be a support or resistance level on that daily chart because it was so chopped up. But when you zoom out, when you do surgery on this candle, you zoom in a little bit, you can see where the level is right here. And this is what happened. So we got the bearish flag. We rejected this level, came down. It started out how Meta did on Friday. Came up here, kept rejecting this level. So now it was using it as resistance. Came up here, rejected the 9 again, but then closed back under this. But then light right at the end, it was able to reclaim this level, but still closed under the rejected the 9 EMA, right? So what now we just got to see what happens. So now what I was trying to say, yeah, I gave y'all the traditional level or whatever for puts or for calls, but I'm gonna say this: you can get an early entry and play this, depending on if we get a gap up or something. If we don't, if it open up around here and price just start bouncing off this area here, once we reclaim this, man, it's gonna go back up here. You can play that quickly to here. So before it even get to the trigger for calls, you can play that move if we get an opportunity to play it, you know. But that's what I'm saying. You're playing a lower time frame, so you're seeing more of a story that's being told, you know, on that lower time frame. And then this is a little small uptrend here that's intact a little bit. Well, I'm gonna show it to you in a better way really quickly. I think it's a bearish flag that's forming personally. I'm gonna show y'all. But bearish flags can be broken, right? Just like bull flags don't play out. You see this though? So we got this little flagpole, we got the flagpole, and then we got the consolidation that's happening here. Now, obviously, I see some other setups within here, and you can see this was a bearish flag right here that's within that flag. You've seen this little bullish flag that was in there, that played out. So here was the bear flag right here. This one played out, broke down, came down, ended up reversing, turned into a bull flag. That played out, you know, and price consolidated up here, gap down, and now it's consolidating again. But if you look at this in different ways, you can see this in so many ways that, okay, all right, this is a channel that is building. So it should bounce up and go up from here, right? So, you know, let's see what happens. So that was just me zooming out on this to give some more color because the daily chart was really choppy on this and it's really hard to see. But when you zoom out, you can still see that this is in the channel too that I have here. Also, that price channel that we still have there. A lot of stuff going on. Take this off the daily chart. So I know it's a lot that I'm giving y'all here, but if it was let me take that out. There we go. So you still got that trend there. So everything, you know, just a lot, but I just wanted to kind of give y'all some clarity on that level why I had this dotted line here. and didn't want to and didn't, and because it wasn't really clear on the daily chart, but just able to show it to you in the session hourly just to give more color. So yeah, with this one, just have to watch and wait and see what happens. But that's a way to play it on an early entry if we don't get a gap up or tomorrow. So yeah, there's that. I'm gonna
I
check.
have a question. We're able to see the blood pressure, like we're able to see the volume when the market is live. Is there any way to see what has been done over the weekend, what's like sitting in queue?
No, well, see, well, there is no queue. There is no queue. Like I don't look at a queue as anything. It's either the market is open or it's closed. And so when you say what's sitting in queue, when the like pre-market at let's just say for the US stock market, right? At 4 a.m. At 4 a.m. you could start buying shares at 4 a.m. That's where our pre-market starts at 4 a.m. So at 4 a.m. you can start buying shares. And those are live trades. Those are live trades. You can't buy options until the market opens. You know what I mean? At 9:30. So there's no queue to look at, and when I talk about blood pressure, I'm talking about volume, just plain, just real volume, real time volume. And the only volume that that matters to us is when the market is open. Like I was telling y'all the other night, when I said Meta was going to gap up, and then when the Asian futures market opened on Christmas night, Meta technically, well, yeah, gapped up to like 614, but that didn't matter to us because when the market opened, it was down. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
what really matters is what happens when our market opens because we can't. That's why when the market is closed, unless you're buying and selling shares, what when the U.S. market you can't do anything on Sunday night. But I'm saying that if once the market is closed, there's nothing that you can do with your options. You can if you try to put a limit order or something in for an option, which I never would recommend anyone ever doing at all overnight or for any reason. I would never do that because you don't know where the stock is going to open. You don't know what's going to happen, and if that and the market makers are very funny. And let's say, look, they got to make money too. Let's say you put a limit order in for a meta call, right? And and it was $500 to get into the call. So we're just going to sit there in queue. That limit order going to sit there until it can execute at the price that you put it in for, right? So let's say it costs you put that limit order in for $500. Market doesn't open until the next day at 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you let's say Meta's going to come down, and market makers know that it's coming down. They may execute that order for you. You know what I'm saying? Because that trade going to likely get clapped anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen that happen before. Or you put this limit order in for this trade and it never execute. It won't execute at all because now if the stock already when I'm at the live price, the price that matters and what makes a gap up or gap down is the price that, like for example, on this app loving chart right here on Friday December 6th, it closed at 401.50. That was the closing price. It opened the next day, that Monday, the next trading day at 370. So that in between price is the gap. That's the gap between the previous close and the next day's open. So everything in between doesn't matter. So if you put a limit order in, it's based off the prices that the contracts were on the close right here for 401.50. Now, if it gapped down, obviously that contract going to be exponentially lower. And so, I've seen this happen. They fill your contract for the price that you paid for it, that you put the limit order in for 500, but now that contract is worth 250 as soon as you know what I mean? So it's like, I've seen that work against people, but at the same time, it's like, there's no reason to ever do that because if your entries and exits on a trade should be based off of market structure and support and resistance and a setup. So if you're just jumping in or trying to do a limit order overnight, there's no real chart or anything that you're using to make that decision because again you can see a lot of price action happening overnight, But when the market opened, what really matters is where it closed the previous day and where it opened this day. And you can see a lot of noise that never happens. Like before, you'll see the Asian futures market do something else because it's something that may be going on in Japan, or something that may be going on in Hong Kong or Shanghai or whatever. But then by the time 3 a.m. happened, Europe then bought them, then sold the market off. Like, I don't know why Europe opened, so they be so scared. So all the time they'll open the market open, and Europe will just sell the market off at 3 a.m. Or the United States at 4 a.m. they will sell the market off. You know what I mean? People taking profit on stuff. And then also another thing, when Meta ran up to 614 the other night, there was only, guess how many contracts it was being, I mean, how many shares were being traded for it to make that move overnight that time? It was only like, it was under 500 contracts. It was, I keep saying contracts, under 500 shares that traded to make the stock move like that, because that was a low volume environment overnight. It's like the Wild West. But when the real market's open, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of contracts, if not of shares that are being traded, that it's going to wipe that whole move out. So the move should be based off of when market opens, when it closes, and I wouldn't be trying to trade or set up any limit orders overnight or anything like that. I would just be waiting for the market to open.
And Taylor, I don't want you to, I told you before, you're intuitive, you want to know. I want you to make this as simple for yourself as possible right now at the level that you are. Be okay with allowing Antoine to guide those trades. Don't try to think too deep into this. Keep it simple until you've moved to a level where those things really can take place. Take 10 of those trades, execute those trades, be profitable in those trades, and then you move forward. You don't want to complicate things for yourself, and you start looking at too much on a chart, and then you're like, now you're confused because you got so much going on in your brain trying to look at too many things.
KK, you do not know me, because I definitely was like, so are we gonna pull back? So you don't know my brain, but clearly you do. And so I will stay in my lane and just I really appreciate the breakdown, like the surgery part. I needed that surgery to better understand from the daily, the hourly, and then like I appreciated that.
No problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. Yeah. But yeah, no, she's right though. And but I get it. We talking about it in real time, and you want to know more things. But like I was saying, that kind of still goes back to the whole, like, well, that's fractions. You know what I mean? So that's some stuff about fractions. But no, but it's a good question, because sometimes we chase trades. Sometimes people chase. Sometimes they want to know how things work, and that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, but like she said, just analysis paralysis is real. And if the more stuff the more, they say, the less you know, the better in certain things. But I'm saying, like, literally, it's simple, less is more. If you notice, right, on my charts, I rarely have much on my charts. I'll be seeing a lot of people's charts. There's a lot of stuff on there. I got 2 EMAs on this chart, and I got really, really nothing. If I had to choose, if they asked me what 2 indicators, if I could only use 2 indicators for the rest of my life, and I could only use those indicators, what would they be? It would be volume and just price action alone. I don't need anything else. I don't need these EMAs. I don't need any of it. You know what I mean? Just volume. But I got into that level now that that's where I'm at now. But
Is
yeah.
that what that number means on the bottom right-hand corner? My trading view has like a number that alternates on the bottom right-hand corner, and I was trying to figure out what that is, but whenever I click on it, it disappears.
Sure, but what I would do, like, I would like, what does, so what number are you talking about? Like, where?
I'll save it for coaching because it would require share screen. So I'll wait. I'm building up my questions.
Okay, no problem. No problem. So let me just hit this chart really quickly. This app loving chart. App loving cooling off a little bit right now. And yeah, but let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. App Loving is a pretty expensive, just letting y'all know, this is a pretty expensive trade. So I'm just follow. You know, again, it can be things can be cool at times, and then sometimes they aren't. But yeah, here we go. App Loving. Um, yeah, just putting some levels on here. This is my chart where I don't put any levels on at all. So I just kind of trying to stick to that. But yeah. But here we go. We got a broadening formation here on the daily for App Loving, and we finished. It went up here, rejected resistance again, and lost the 9 EMA, closed under it. Here we go. So I'll say under 326.69, looking for a move back down to 318, 318.27, and then possibly down to 303 for App Loving. For if we were to clear 345.05, looking for a move back up there to 350 or 349.07, then up to 360, and then we have a gap fill. This stock moves, it moves, and then we got a bearish gap fill up there at 382.77. But yeah, this stock, it has room to cool off, man. Again, because it's been running for a lot. I'm gonna zoom out and show you more on this. But again, contracts are expensive. When you zoom out, you see this trend. It looks good. It still looks good, right? And still looks good, right? Still holding up pretty well. Again, we don't have a lot of price up here. It's still at near all-time highs. It has room to cool off some more. But I think it's in a place where it could be a nice, lucrative trade, just where price is. The longer the consolidation, the bigger the move, and it's been stuck in this channel right here for a few weeks now, you know. So it's time for it to break out and make a move. And when it does, you know, it's going to be a nice one. Like I said, that big move, it could either come back down, end up coming back down here to retest the 50, or going back up here and blasting through that that gap fill area and headed towards the all-time high. So you need to keep App Loving on watch. Keep it on watch. Get a bank. All right, Goldman Sachs. Y'all know I like this setup. This stock here, the bank, and just again, it's just I just don't want anybody to try to just force or chase any trades. You want to wait until a setup plays out before you start to make moves on these stocks and stuff like that. So just because I'm posting something, mean that it's going to play out, doesn't mean that you're going to get the trade, you know, that's going to actually, you know, take place. Just looking for a setup, and if it actually takes place. You see, we finished with almost like a doji here. It opened at 577 and it closed at 576.18. So like very close to where it opened, but it's right here at the 9 EMA, but it is slightly closed under it. So I'm gonna say calls over 581.96, calls over 582, and looking for a move to 585. What is that? 585. Sorry, 586. 586.33. That would be the target here. We were to clear that area for this one, and then there's a few other levels that you can actually hit on this one that I like. So you got 594, 91. You could possibly hit if we were to get that move to continue up here, because we are holding this area. If we were to lose that 571.35, looking for a move back down here to 566.86. Now, hopefully it would bounce there, but you know, see exactly how things play up. Okay, I like how this kind of looks here. But yeah, so this is another one that can move, and this is a good time where we will see exactly what Goldman Sachs is up to heading into the final few days and into the new year. So keep this one on watch. It's still holding that gap fill area. It never fully closed the gap. So we'll see what happens, because I feel like if it's rejecting this area and it comes down and flushes this time, then we'll probably take it out and make those moves down if it was to do that. So, but yeah, just keep this one on watch. Again, this is another one that could potentially be a good trade. But again, like I said, this being the final few days of the year, I just want to make sure that whatever we're doing, you know, whatever trades that we're taking are actual, the best possible trades that we could actually be trading, right? So just have some good setups on them. All right, so we got Lemonade. This is an insurance company, and like home insurance and stuff like that. They do other things too, but homeowners insurance, renters insurance, stuff like that. And so here we go. So this stock was on a move. Let me start out with the weekly on this one here, so you can see what's actually going on. And then the monthly closes this week too. So you see, we still got it's the weekly here, so you can kind of see what's really going on. And then look, this is another thing. So this is why this was important last week and why it's important now. We did get a pullback, a significant pullback, but look at this. This stock hasn't been in certain areas for a while, right? And so we started to get this breakout here. And 1 second, go back to the daily first. A lot of stuff you can't really see because it was so long ago when the stock was moving up in those levels. So this is something significant. It's a nice bull flag. You see, it's been doing this the whole time. Small bullish flag, gap up, small bullish flag, another one right here. Then this one was a super gap up. Then we got here's the flagpole right here. So this is what I was looking at here. So it's a few things on this chart to pay attention to. Now, we got the sometimes you get the breakout and then you get the retest of the breakout area. This is the flag right here, and this is the breakout area. And that's where it finished at. That 222 reversal already played out. The stock was moving significantly until the market starts to pull back. And that's cool. Markets pull back. That's what they do. So for this now, I will say under 38.80. Look for a move back down here. So from 38.80, then back down to 36.48 for a retest of that 50 EMA. Under that, back down to 34.50. Now, if we're able to get back up and clear 44.31, then look for a move to 46.06, and then I'm gonna say if we get over 46.06, I'm just looking straight for 50. That's where I'm headed. I'm looking forward to go if that happens on this. So yeah. So, but did we get for it to have as much volume as it did on Friday and still holding that breakout area? That still could be a pretty big move. Again, just pay attention to what's going on and how it's going on, and just the way price is moving, because again, we're going to have a lot of it may be some opportunities this week. It may not be some opportunities this week because the volume is going to be low. I just want everybody just to remember that volume is going to be low this week. Well, but the final few trading days of the year, we never know what can happen. I just don't expect for it to be too much going on outside of the outside of power hour and stuff, unless we get some setups or some news that comes out. So just that alone. All right, Costco. So the reason I pulled up Costco when I was going over the heat map just now or earlier during the earlier part of this session, I was looking at how much Costco was down, as far as the week. Yeah, when most of the other stocks, there was a lot of stocks that were up, but I'm just saying I was looking at how much Costco and was down this week, and so I was like, let me just take a look at that to see if there's something to that, because everything else was pretty much wasn't as bad. We lost the 50 EMA. Okay, we closed under it. When was the last time that happened? Let me see, do we still have a trend intact? Is there something else going on? Let me just zoom out first before I make any thoughts on that from here. Okay, okay. Now it's starting to make some sense a little bit. You zoom out, you can see a lot more. So let me just get my see what's going on. Okay, so now I'm seeing some things. Feel me? Y'all feel me? Y'all feel me? See what's going on here. So we got some movement going here. So I'm like, okay, all right, we just lost the 50 on the this is a weekly chart I'm looking at, because I wanted to zoom out because there was too much going on, too much noise over there. And I'm like, all right, so we may have some room down here. Okay, that's if it's to come down. See, now I can see it even clearer now that I come back here. And where do I have some levels? Okay, that kind of lines perfectly up with this level too here on the daily. So when you look Okay, we got a level here too. So, so that we could possibly get a nice move back down here on Costco. And again, this is a daily chart. It lost to 50. There's some other levels, obviously, in there. We got a gap fill, bullish gap fill. I'm gonna mark that up too. That could possibly get hit here. I said every chart tells a story. We're just gonna see exactly what happens. And if that lines up with any other level where it looked like it kind of bounced, I'm gonna look at that too. Just give me a sec. So that was a gap fill area there we could possibly hit before getting to that level. If that was the case, let's see, is there, I gotta zoom out a second. I'm zoom in, look at an hourly just to see if there's any other thing that is corresponding with where this actually hit this line or any other levels. Have to see how this plays out. We look at this here, it's been going up, and these last few times, it's just one day of price action though, but it went up and rejected this non. But this kind of looked like what a lot of other charts look like. This could kind of double bottom now. Double bottom don't have to always be sideways. I mean, horizontal can be slanted too, right? But this could also be a trend. So just looking at the price and just talking out loud here, what could possibly happen. But when you just zoom out again, go back to the daily. This is what I see. It's going off of this alone. And that's what I'm seeing. We lost the 50 EMA. And, you know, I don't like when stocks like big stocks like this lose a 50. I mean, this stock has been running up for a while and it hasn't gotten a stock split. So this is a channel. It looks like it can come back down here and retest the bottom of this channel. So it's looking at some other factors. Not necessarily, it don't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen, because there are other instances where it lost to 50 and it didn't do that. But the last time it did have a continuation down to the bottom of the trend line. So we'll follow what has happened in the past. But we also got to understand that price happens, like the stocks move based off of what's happening in the market too. You know, it could be the overall market sentiment. But you see Sunset lost the 50, I'm sorry, the non-EMA right here. It's been trying to reclaim it and it hasn't been able to. And we lost the 50, gap down, lost the 50. So yes, I'll say under 932, looking for a move to 927.87 and then 920.61. Again, hopefully, I mean, I would think it would bounce around this area, but it all depends on where that happens. So this level may be null and void if it, you know, as days start to move along. So you got to pay attention to that too. And for calls, if it was to clear that 950.45, looking for a move to that 956 and then 959. That's where it's gotten rejected plenty of times at that 9 EMA. Now that will change. But yeah, just play the move, play what you got here. But like I like this, I think that could be a nice, a significant move down if it was to we get a continuation. Now another thing to consider with this for Costco, the ATR for Costco is $17 a day. So that stock moves like $17 a day. So it's a big chance that it could come down here, hit this move, bounce off of this, and then go the other way or go back up here, reject the 9 EMA again, and then come back down. So just, you know, I think there's an opportunity for this stock and for this trade here. So just keep it on watch. Again, it was something that wasn't on my list, but in the prep heading up into this meeting, it was something that just showed up, and thought it was a good idea to keep an eye on it. We hit this. All right, AVGO had to come back here for a second, man. This stock has been on a tear since earnings. Broadcom, and it's right here back near all-time highs again. And so, and I think after what happened on Friday, how everything kind of cooled off, but it still closed like this. I think it still wants to retest those levels again. Again, I'm only hitting this because you know, people have been trading it and talking about it, and it's likely to continue moving. Let's just talk about it. So I'm just going to say over 245.78. I'm looking for a move back to the all-time high at 251.88. If we were to lose that 236.35, looking for a move back down here to this gap fill area, down here at what is that, 232.35, and then down to that's right, it kind of lines up with the 90 MA. You see it's been bouncing off of that, retesting this and coming back down and then going off again. So then we could possibly do that. But it's been the price action for this is not really it's just been a little. I think it's consolidating again. Just look at it like this, right? This stock broke out of this flag right here and it ran up. So now it probably stay in this range for a little while. It may do that, or it may break up and go. But just look at it as if it's starting to build. Like, for example, this area right here, we wouldn't have known what it was doing until after these candles, the pieces start to come together. Sometimes it's not enough data to give you the pieces. And I hate stocks at all-time highs anyway, right? So you got to sometimes zoom out and see what's going on. And you can see right here, it already broke out of a flag and ran up here. So now, it's making some moves. We just have to see exactly how it plays out up in this area here. And it's just a range that it's been trading in since it's been up here now. So we'll just see if it breaks out of this range and continues out, or just, but it's a nice range to play. I think that's a big enough range to make money in, though, if you just wanted to trade that boring range. But yeah, so just wanted to cover it because people have been talking about it a lot, and we traded it and we made a lot of money off of it. So I'm going to hit Nike because I'm going to talk about Nike. Nike hasn't really been doing anything right now. It's just been chopping in the middle and just the chopping and chopping and chopping. It hasn't really done anything at all since earnings, right? But if you zoom out and look at the weekly chart, this is where it is. It's still within this channel here, and in this wedge here. It's falling wedge. So, when it breaks out of the falling wedge, then that stock can make a nice move. But if not, then it comes down. But this is just like let you know how bad or how tight it has been for Nike right now, because we had an inside week. So it finished inside on the week, that's a neutralizing thing. But we got a double reject off of this 90 MA and the top of this the falling wedge or whatever. It's just really it's just nothing going on with Nike right now. It's just chilling. Nike has some time to make some moves or whatever, but right now it's just chilling. Just stay the course with Nike and just wait for a move to take place. When we do finally get the move, it will make a move. And Nike, let me see, look at how before earnings, just look at a few weeks of price action before earnings. So last time it went up to the top of this range, you see what happened, right? But that's earnings too right there. But it's been playing around this area. Let's look at a few weeks after earnings. Like this, just 1 week after earnings right here. This was earnings right here. This was a few weeks after earnings. So look, here we go. So this was the first week. This is a little different situation, I consider, though. But this was how it closed the week of earnings for Q3 was 82.25 is where it closed, right? The low of the next week was 79. Let's call it 80. That's easier. And then the high of the next week was 84. So it was like chopping in the range. Then we got the breakdown right here, where the low was at 78, 74, and then it started to go even lower. So, but right now we're already, this was a little different because I feel like this one, it was far away from the top of the downtrend, the falling wedge, when we broke down. So then it tried to make a reversal and go here, got rejected off this level and then flushed down. Right here, we're already in this area. So Nike, what you going to do? What are you going to do now? So they wanted to be bullish with the stock. They wanted to be bullish. So we'll just see. Some people looking at Nike like they're waiting to see what the market is going to do at this point. Think about it. After Nike, was that around the Fed, and was that after the Fed? The Fed was after Nike. Yeah, the Fed was after Nike. Then we had the Fed come out and throw that monkey wrench at all of us, and with the whole rate cuts and stuff like that. And so we just got so right now people just being careful with what they're doing with their money. And then, like going into the end of the year, like capital gains and stuff like that, people in certain positions that are going to get closed out, some of them that aren't going to get closed out. We're going to see what the market going to do. If the market flushes at the beginning of the year, then Nike will die. You know what I mean? I think Nike comes down to it takes out the 52-week low. If that happens, that's that 70, 75. Now, if Nike finds a way to break through this, then 86. I mean, I'm looking at 86, 84. I mean, so 86, 46. At least a retest of that 50 EMA is where I would be looking for Nike. And again, we're looking at a weekly chart because we want to zoom out and just see what's really going on, what the bigger picture is in a situation like this. And here's the weekly. Just doesn't really look too good for Nike right now, but then when you zoom out and you still see that falling wedge. It's just it's more precise, I would say, because of the fact that we don't have as many candles. This is a monthly chart. But yeah, so just look at it. But this is kind of, we look at this as kind of flagging almost too, but I'm just looking at the trend right now. The trend is still a downtrend on Nike until we break out and go the other way. So let's just see right now, it's like bulls and bears. Buyers and sellers are agreeing at the same price on Nike right now. Let's just look at where it opened and where it closed, and we inside on the week. It opened at 76.33 and it finished at 76.42. So like a 10, 11 cent difference in price, right? So it's right now, it's just like it's dead money right now. It's just chilling, not doing nothing. But I just wanted to hit Nike, let y'all know like what's going on with it at this point. And yeah, but we gotta see, let's just see how things are gonna play out this week, man, and go from there. Last chart I'm gonna hit right now is Microsoft, and this is a good one too. This is another good one. I told y'all this last week, man, that when SPY sells off, and I know, Microsoft is just a big stock, but when SPY sells off, man, you gotta pay attention to Microsoft, man. It's one of the weakest stocks when SPY sells off because I don't know, it's a lot of institutional support with Nike. It's in a lot of portfolios. So we lost the 50 EMA on Nike. I'm saying Nike on Microsoft. And yeah, so we went down, we bounced off the 200, but we lost the 50. We closed under the 50. And we closed under the support level right here too. So it's a few things. Let me just get this out of here. My chart is too much going on in this like old stuff that I had on here. So we got some trends on here that's going on, for this stock. But I'm not saying that Nike's going to come down that far. We could make a move back down here. Now, look, see, the only difference with this right now is we're so close to the 200. It looked like we almost bounced off of it pretty much, right? So, and this is almost like, what was the stock we just covered that was in the middle? It doesn't matter, but when stocks are in the middle, it's different because you got to wait for a significant move before you play puts on it, right? So it's different ways to look at it. Like I told y'all before, for this one, so just traditionally under 426.35, then we'd be looking for a move, a retest of that 425.14, which is the 200 EMA. But then 418 would be in play, right? That's how you would play Nike. But there's a resistance right here. There's a resistance right here, and we closed under that and that 50. So I'm thinking that we would possibly go lower. But we could gap up, we could reclaim this. The market sold up quite a bit over the week. I think on Friday that pullback was significant, but that doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean it's over. But over 435.22, we got a gap fill area right here at 438.11, right? So that would be our target if we were to do that, and it kind of lines up with another level. And then we got 445.38. I mean, keep Microsoft on watch. If the market make a significant move, then most likely they're going to buy back into Microsoft too. But again, things could just be you got to follow what the market gives us. Simple as that, and just try to we'll just play things as they come. Again, man, that's all the charts I'm gonna cover right now, and that's only because actually, hold up, I gotta cover this one last chart. Got to. Yeah. Excuse my chart, man. I know I got so much going on in this chart, but yeah, this kind of closed like Meta did with that retest of that 9 EMA and bounce off
Yeah,
of it.
Antoine, it is meta. It kind of switched over or something on you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, yo, what happened? I'm like, this going like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? All right, thanks, Drew. Maybe hold it up like that. All right, there we go. All right. So, yeah, we reclaimed that 9 though.
I think it's dope that you were able to look at the chart and was like, yo, that looked like meta. And it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. I'm like, hold on, what's going on? But yeah, I just glad he caught that. I was about to cover Meta again. But yeah, this chart is a little interesting. Let me zoom out real quick first because there's a lot of noise on it too. And yeah, it's a lot of noise on this chart. Y'all see all that noise though? It's a lot of wicks. Like it's giving up a lot of those moves on this chart, man. How it's just been moving up. That's a monthly chart. Just wanted to see how what's going on. So a lot of noise going on. Get a bigger picture of what's going on. But yeah, we reclaimed the 50 and the 9 EMA on this one, almost like a hammer on this. And this is, I don't know, I don't like the choppiness of this stock right now, but I think we can get the volatility on it is warranted because of how, important the stock is. And a lot of other semiconductors been moving this week or last week. So, yeah, over 139.02, looking for a move to this gap fill area here at, what is that, at 139.70. And then we got 141.34 and then 143.45. If we were to lose 134.71, I'm looking for a move back down. That would be see, the thing is with this, right? So I got this, you got to look at this in so many different ways because there's the stock hasn't really been making, if you look at it, I got a line right here, a level right here, and that's kind of where the trigger is too. And when we lost this level before, we came back up here and we was rejecting the level, was using it as resistance. We cleared it again, retested it as support, and now we came back down and retested it as support again, right? So it's really, I think that was a good close on it. So I'm not really saying that we got bearishness on it, although we had some bearish volume that came in on Friday or whatever. But at the same time, just look at I think this was a pretty bullish close. If we were to lose this level, that's a big move down that we can make down to 130, around 138.4. You know what I'm saying? So, and then possibly to 127.40. It could happen, but I just think it looked like it wants to bounce here. But we just have to see what the price action looks like. And go, like I said, it doesn't matter what I wanted to do or what I think it's going to do. We're going to follow whichever move it makes. So if it does this, we'll do this. If it does this, we'll look for a setup to the other side. So just keep it on watch. I wanted to cover it because it's NVIDIA and it can make these dynamic moves. I'm not touching Apple. I'm not covering Apple because we missed a move on Apple. We covered Apple a few weeks ago, and I'm gonna tell you, like one thing that happens with me a lot is I don't like trading stocks at all-time highs. I don't like trading stocks that are at all-time highs or that run at all-time highs. And I'm not covering Apple. I'm just talking of just bringing the chart up like this. But this one right here, it had a nice pullback on this from the all-time high, right? And it's still in an uptrend. It's still definitely in an uptrend. Just looking at the chart, Apple is one of them stocks, and I'm just throwing this out there for people who like to do this. I haven't called out an Apple play in a while because, again, I felt like we missed a move on Apple. But this was a nice pullback on Apple right here. High volume that came in, well, higher volume than the previous days that week. And it bounced right here off the 9 EMA, right? So it's still in an uptrend, but I think we missed the move on this. I just hate that we missed the move. But Apple is one of those stocks where you can get a nice contract at the money for like $50 or $100 and turn it into $400, turn it into if it make those moves. It's one of those types of stock that you gotta catch that move. I just haven't been in a place or a space that I missed that move, man. We saw when it happened and we missed that move. But it does look like Apple can retest those highs again based off of where it how it bounced here. Just look at how it's been riding the 90 and made a whole move up. Like I said, I'm not covering Apple. I'm just wanted to put it on your radar or whatever because it's been on a move lately and it looked like so. Look where the all-time high is. And just look at the trend for a second. Just look at the trend. I always say as long as the trend is intact, eventually this is gonna break down, but I'm just saying, like it's been riding up like this the whole
Trend is your friend.
the trend is your friend, right? So it's been riding up the whole time, and I can take this as far back as all the way down here. You know what I'm saying? So, and there we go. So that's a nice move up for a new all-time high again. It looked like that's the trend that Apple is doing. Now, until it breaks down, it's still going up. That's all I'm saying. We missed that move. We missed that move. I feel like who knows? Apple can continue to run, man. But yeah, I just wanted to put this on your radar because, yeah. So there's Apple. But that's all I have. And I know I kept y'all over, but we talked a lot and there was more commentary with these charts and I'm cool with that. This was the last meeting of the year, man. And I just want to make sure that everybody is locked in and ready and let's keep the success going. Cheers.
Round it out, Antoine. I just want to tell you thank you for such a phenomenal year. I know everybody on here, we all appreciate you. We thank you for all that you do, all the time that you put in to the group. And, we just want to give you the biggest shout out. Phenomenal year this year.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. And let's just keep it going. Keep it going. Cheers.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Have a good New Year's.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate you.